So, um, by the time you seen this, happy Valentine's Day, number one. Um, I have had a great Valentine's Day with my girlfriend. Shout out her, I love her. She's like one who motivates me to do this shit most. But enough of all that. Sorry this video is late. I have to re-record it multiple times because of corruption errors and shit. This was a lie. I accidentally deleted the video a couple times, and then I had corruption errors. I had to retake because the audio wouldn't clip right. I had to redo the video. I had to re-edit, and every time I used to do this video, I forget to unmute my mic. But in this case, we just gonna be watching some Valentine's Day horror stories. Oh God, that's what we doing. We just chilling today. I mean, I had a whole wheel for it. Y'all see it in the beginning what I chose to do. So yeah, I love y'all. Happy Valentine's Day, and yeah, that's it. Love y'all.
Yeah, if I ever told you that I love you, it's true. Gotta stay silent when you meet. This was a big coat, see, then I'm swerving the coupe. I'm not so excited, but my door is just full.
When I was younger, Valentine's Day used to be my favorite date of the year. My girlfriend and I had been dating for over 3 years, and things were going great. This year, I had a lot of plans for Valentine's Day, but something would come between me and my girlfriend. It started 2 days before Valentine's Day. Samantha hadn't answered my messages all day, which I thought was weird. I was about to go to her house, but suddenly she answered me. She told me she overslept, so she didn't go to work either. I offered to go see her, but she said no. Let's meet directly on Valentine's Day. At first, her messages seemed strange to me. They had a lot of spelling mistakes, which was unnatural for her. But I assumed she had just woken up, and she told me a few days before her cell phone was not working the best way. The next day went by pretty fast. I spent the day working, and Sam responded to me at very random times. She was acting...
Again, that's what causes overthinking, bro. Literally, that's what causes overthinking right there. That's literally just pure overthinking. Alright, I guess, what about the video?
Weird. Did something happen to her? I decided not to insist too much, since the next day I would go to see her in the morning. When the sun came up, I got ready as I could finally see her. I put on the best perfume I had, bought her flowers and chocolates, and with a smile, I went to her house. No matter what was happening to Samantha, this day was going to be sensational.
Wait. No matter what was happening to Samantha, Samantha could be getting real! No, I'm just playing. No, that was a free. But, yeah, you could have been getting real or something. What you mean? No matter what happens. Like, that is a crazy thing to say. No matter what happens, bro.
As I was arriving at her house, I received a message from Samantha. The message said that she was going to take a shower and that she left the front door open. I was surprised at how reckless she was, but I just went along with it. As I entered the house, I saw that the bathroom door was closed and there was a noise coming from behind it into the shower, so I sat down to wait for her. Suddenly, the door opened and steam came out of the bathroom, but instead of meeting my girlfriend, someone else appeared. A white, scrawny, and very tall...
Look at this man. This girl, whatever this is. This cigarette, burnt victim, cancer patient, specimen, shriveled up ET, shriveled up condom. This doesn't make no sense. Like, look, that is not human. That is a specimen. Came from a UFO. Look at his bill. Oh no, that's kind of sickening. If I saw it in my house, I'm punching him and I'm running out of there.
Came out of the bathroom wearing my girlfriend's underwear. But the worst thing, what surprised me the most, was his face. That wasn't his face. He had pieces of skin stuck all over his face.
Bro, get this
It
thing
was
off my
probably sealed with a
screen!
very strong glue, since the man walked with extreme tranquility without the skin falling off. Not only was
Why
the
is he coming
skin
towards me?
glued, but also the hair. But I recognized that golden hair. That was Samantha's hair.
Who are you? Where's Samantha? What are you saying, Roy? I am Samantha.
Samantha's
Can't
not
you
there
see
no
my
more.
face?
Ugh.
Don't you like me anymore?
My first impulse was to run as fast as I could to the door, but it wasn't going to happen. This man was a little closer, so at a great speed he arrived first, and with his body he covered the door.
Hey, my love.
I would have moved him out my
forgotten
way.
yourself at home? Why aren't you so upset? You psycho! Where's Sam?
Enraged, it seems that the man didn't like my comment. So furious, he jumped at me and grabbed my head with his two huge hands, shouting at me, face to face.
What part don't you understand that I
would
am
have got
Sam?
him off and I would have punched
you
him.
forgotten about me? Did you hit your head coming in?
Get this crazy motherfucking crackhead to
You know what? I'd kill you for questioning your girlfriend, but I'll spare your life for now, just because you brought me my favorite.
Hey man, let's just take a quick minute. Look how she's holding my man here. Like, that's actually low key wild. Look, just look at that. Look at it. That's crazy disrespect. See, I would have just grabbed on arm and just broke it.
Chocolates. Stay here while I change, honey. I'll be back in a while.
When the man closed the door and left me in the dark, before I could get up to turn on the light, I felt something strange next to me, like wet. Suddenly, a horrible smell came up my nose. It was disgusting.
She's gone.
I felt like I was going to vomit at any moment.
Gone, bro.
I held my nose, and in desperation, I went to turn on the light in the basement.
She's done. She
on the
is
way,
finished.
I felt many insects hitting my face.
Oh yeah.
I knew what this meant, but I didn't want to assume it, so I wanted to avoid it as much as possible. When I turned on the light, I couldn't avoid reality for another second. That was Samantha's body. The body was decomposing. Around Sam, flies seemed to be feasting. As if it was.
That is actually crazy.
Wasn't enough. Many parts of her face and body were disfigured or skinless. What that psycho was wearing on his face was really Samantha's face. I fell to my knees on the floor, and almost ignoring the disgusting smell that didn't let me breathe, I cried as hard as I could.
I would have punched that man.
After a few seconds of wailing, I tried to open the door as hard as I could. I was always a small man, strength was never my thing, and even at that moment, I felt totally useless. I was facing a simple wooden door, crying, while a man was putting on my girlfriend's clothes, who was already behind me, decomposing. I felt pathetic, and I was.
Terrifying.
From one second to the next, the door opened, but not because I forced it, but because the man had returned.
I'm back, honey. You!
Yes, sir! Swing at him! Swing!
Knocking me down with absurd ease, the man who killed my girlfriend was standing in front of me.
Never mind, he just punched.
That man was wearing Samantha's favorite skirt with a black top that he couldn't even finish zipping up.
Hey, I understand that you're very upset, but let me explain what happened. This man came into my house and tried to kill me. He told me he was watching you on the street, always dreaming of being your partner. Can you believe it? He came with the intention of killing me and pretending to be me. What a psycho.
Furious, I stood up and lunged at him again.
Yeah!
But again,
knock him out!
Pointless. The man grabbed me by the neck.
He grabbed. Okay. Man, okay. This is crazy. I mean, you choke me anytime, daddy. I mean, I didn't mean like that. But this is actually crazy.
Before I could hit him, and with one hand he lifted me up, only to throw me against Sam's corpse.
Hey, honey, you shouldn't be so upset. I wasn't going to let this man come between us. I killed him as soon as I saw him. You should have heard how he screamed.
Get this
it was
crackhead
delicious.
off my screen.
His screams still sound in my head. What an exquisite melody. I assure you, he suffered a lot before he died. You see,
I bet he did.
I couldn't pass up an exquisite sound like that. So before I killed him, I tortured him. I made sure he survived until the last second he could feel pain.
This is the Joker on
Anyway, honey, are we going to a nice restaurant?
Yeah! Right in the heart. Right in the heart. Do it again. Do it again.
I had made it. I had escaped. I ran to the door, crying and preparing to tell the police everything. But something in me was wrong. All my fear, helplessness, and sadness turned into hatred. Pure hatred towards the monster that had taken away the most important thing in my life. Instead of running away, I turned to him. He was still alive, and confused, he spoke to me.
My love, I don't feel good. I think...
This is literally, I don't feel good, Mr. Stark. This is literally on some Tom Holland type stuff. This is literally a Tom Holland Easter egg. I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. I don't feel so good. Oh. Like, bro, you just kidnapped my girlfriend's face. You think I'm about to get you up? You think I'm about to revive you?
You hurt
me. No, stay down there.
You are not my love. You are not Samantha.
Yeah.
You took her from me. She's never coming back because of you.
When I finished, I just fell on the floor and started crying, in shock because of everything that had happened. When the police came, I was arrested for double homicide, but after the truth came out, I was released. After that, I could never be in a couple again. I never felt I could open my heart to someone else and experience anything like that again. Every Valentine's Day is torture. Torture where in my nightmares I relive everything that happened that day. I recently started therapy. I hope someday to be able to heal, but in the meantime, I spend Valentine's Day locked up and alone, trying to face my memories.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video.
Get this man!
You say that you love me, tell me why you lie. Every time that I get comfy, I get broke every time.
There was nothing special about that night, except for the fact that it was Valentine's Day, and I wanted to take Julia out for dinner. It's been weeks since we have spoken to each other properly. She has changed since our daughter Dorothy died in an accident. You see, the loss has affected her differently. The way she is coping with this loss will surely destroy what is left of our marriage. Ever since the day our daughter died, she's been detached from reality. I suppose in a way, we all were, but my wife was different. She couldn't, or wouldn't come to terms with the fact that Dorothy was gone.
Bro, get her some help.
Julia didn't sit in her bed, crying for hours. Nor did she spend every waking moment surrounded by photo albums or Dorothy's clothes.
Yeah, at this point, I wouldn't want her to be around me. Literally, just look at her. Like, it's going bad already. Like, it is literally going bad. Like, the teeth, the eyes, the head, it's just...
Clothes. She didn't cry at all when the cops called to inform us that Dorothy was run over by a pickup truck while hitchhiking to a rock concert.
She just missed her daughter.
Julia and I cremated our daughter. Yes, Julia insisted on it. I wish I never agreed. Now, she carries the urn around.
What?
She talked to it as if it was a real person.
Nah, you need to put her in a psych ward immediately.
She murmured, as she strapped it into the baby seat of our car just the other week.
I would have got out the car.
I watched her through the rearview mirror, and my skin crawled. Needless to say,
No. You need to get her out of there now. There's an urn in the baby seat. Bro,
after that, I stopped going out with my wife. I could see people talking about her everywhere we went. They would point her out silently and whisper among themselves.
That's kind of crazy because
I used to feel bad for my wife, but now this routine is getting on my nerves. I am heartbroken and exhausted pretending our daughter is alive. So that night, I decided to put a stop to this. I ordered food and set the table in Valentine's theme. When Julia came downstairs and noticed all the red balloons and heart-shaped candles, I saw her eyes dazzle up. After all these gloomy days, I finally felt my wife noticing me.
Did you do this all by yourself?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Happy Valentine's Day, dear.
I went close to her. She was holding the urn to her chest. I said in a soft voice,
You should get away from her.
I know, Julia. We're going through a tough phase, and you're in no mood to celebrate.
I wouldn't be in no mood either.
But
this relationship
we
is
need
crazy.
to live.
Look at his face.
Dorothy would have wanted us to celebrate tonight. Let's sit down and have a proper dinner, okay?
She gave me a surprised
at this
look,
point,
like I've said something weird.
Is it okay if Dorothy eats with us too?
God, Julia, please, let's not do this tonight.
Do what?
At this point, I was secretly hoping that tonight will be the
This
night
man
when
is finna-
things go back to normal.
How will Dorothy eat with us?
I asked in a tiring, sad voice repeated. For a moment, the room was enveloped in stunned silence. Then Julia spoke.
Like she does every other night.
She sat down on the table
She
and
sounds
put
like
the urn
Cruella
right next to her
de Vil.
dinner plate. Just think about it. Candles were lit.
This man is angry. Look at his
Valentine's
face,
Day dinner it was.
This man
and I
has
was
had
sitting with my
enough.
wife and the ashes of my dead daughter at the same table. But
Yeah, I would get out of there, bro. This man looks like he had enough. He put up with it too long. To be doing
still,
that.
I kept calm. At least she has agreed to eat dinner at the table and not in her room after days. It still progresses. Slowly, she will accept. It takes time to heal, I know that. But then she started talking to the urn.
Look how romantic Daddy is,
I would have
Dorothy.
got out of there. I would have got out of there. That doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, he is glad that you could join us. I'll set up a
Nah.
plate for you. Wait,
Julia,
would-
please.
would-
You don't
I would
have to
literally
go
have to
through
get
this
out
every
of
night.
pass me the mashed potato. Dorothy wants some.
As
Get
she
this
started
crackhead
cutting
off
the
my
steak,
screen.
disregarding that I existed, I finally lost it.
Why can't you just talk to me, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Dorothy
Put
is
your foot
dead.
down.
We lost our daughter to a car crash, Julia. Accept it. She's dead. Stop this insanity.
Tell him.
It's hurting both of us.
Not gonna lie, I feel bad for this dude. I thought he'll be a bad dude. But no, he just had enough of this. He had to put his wife in a psych ward. Look at his face.
This is not healthy. Why can't you see that?
Caught in a fit of rage, I grasped the tablecloth and pulled it towards me, sending the dishes crashing to the floor. Dorothy's urn, sitting atop one of the plates, succumbed to the same fate. It fell on the hard concrete and shattered.
Oh, wow.
My wife screamed, leaping to her feet and dashing around the dining
Yeah, I
table.
would literally have to get out of there.
No, baby, no!
Tears rolled down my eyes, realizing what damage I had done. Amidst the porcelain shards and utensils, the urn lay cracked in half, its lid nowhere to be found. Dorothy's ashes were scattered in those broken pieces. Julia landed knees first on the shards, the porcelain
she's gonna
crunching
power
under
up.
her weight. Nothing could have prepared me for
if
what
I were
she did
you,
next.
I would get out of there.
I watched.
Nah. This is the part where I stopped recording. This is the end of the video. She just licked her daughter's ashes. Wow. No, that's
in
crazy.
horror as my
Nah, that's
frantic
actually crazy.
wife snatched one half of the urn and stuck her tongue out to lick it,
Ugh.
her fingers desperately
Get out
searching
of there,
for the
bro.
remains left on
Get
the
out of there,
floor.
bro.
She swept her hands across the ground, cutting her skin up in the process, and shoved the whole lot in her mouth, her eyes rolling back
It's not
inside
your-
her head.
Get out of there.
I wanted to vomit. No, I wanted to run. My heart was pounding at 10 times
Bro,
its
no one
normal
wants to
rate,
be in there with
threatening
that.
to leap out of my throat. My skin was clammy and my vision blurred, but not
Bro,
enough to
just
stop
get
me
out
from
of there.
seeing the monster that was my wife, stuffing ashes,
She
blood, and
literally-
porcelain shards down her throat.
Ugh.
Julia?
She slowly turned
That's
her head
not
towards
Julia
me,
no more.
and a sick smile appeared on her face. Her bleeding mouth with ashes smearing on her white
Oh
teeth
my
gave me
God.
chills.
She will be with me now, forever.
Nah.
And went
Get her
back
some
to
help.
doing what she was doing. I ran to her and tried my best to pull her away. She kicked in the air and screamed.
No, baby! Don't be scared. Mommy's here.
Nah.
I pleaded with Julia to stop this madness, but she didn't.
Nah.
I somehow dragged her away and locked her in our bedroom. She kept banging on the door until the paramedics arrived.
No. You have to
It's
get her
been
gone,
3 years
bro.
now since Julia has been put in a mental institution.
Yes, sir.
Every Valentine's Day, I go to visit my wife with a bouquet of red roses. I will go this year as well, but I know she won't talk to me. She only talks to herself now. The doctor says she sometimes imitates Dorothy's voice and pretends to be her own daughter, as if she has these dual personalities. She has completely lost it, and I know I'm not getting my family back. So, if you have someone special to spend your Valentine's Day with, you better make it memorable for them. Life has never been kind to the hearts filled with love.
You running around drinking liquor, taking pictures cause you miss me. I know you miss me.
My name is Emily. I'm 26 years old, and I hate Valentine's Day.
Okay, Emily.
I know. What's not to love about a day dedicated to love and romance?
Aww.
But for me, it's sort of a reminder that I'm alone, and I'm genuinely too scared to ever be with anyone again. I've been single for years now, ever since my Valentine's Day ended in what can only be described as an experience that will make your skin crawl. It was my second year of college. I was young and naive, and honestly, I just wanted somebody to spend the day with.
I felt that.
I had just broken up with my boyfriend of several months, and I was really feeling down about it. As I walked to class, one of my friends came up to me and handed me her phone. She had something to show me.
What's this? It's a new dating app. I just signed up for it, and I've already got a date for Valentine's Day. Girl, you better as well.
I wouldn't trust
nobody. I took the phone and looked at it.
I wouldn't trust nobody.
I don't remember for sure what the app
I really wouldn't trust nobody. Like, in this situation, I wouldn't trust anybody, bro.
was called, but I know it wasn't one of the mainstream ones. I think it was some off-brand dating app. Well, I thought about it for a few minutes and then decided to download it.
What was AIM doing there?
I figured, what could it hurt? Sitting in classes all day, I began to get rather excited about the prospect of going on a date with someone new. As Valentine's Day neared, I matched with a guy who seemed really nice. We talked for a few days, and then we decided to meet up. He told me he would pick me up from my dorm at 7 p.m. Let me stress, this guy had like no red flags. I had no reason to believe that he wasn't perfect. Okay, so his pictures were a bit hot, but I figured he was just...
Yeah, this dude look like the type of person that'll steal your kidneys, put you in a tub, and sell on a dark web. This is literally Michael Jackson's twin brother. Bro, is he heating himself to jail? This nigga is an escaped convict, bro. Like, what? Like, what? Bro, nobody's trusting. Nobody, like, bro, ladies out there, if you listening, don't trust no dudes that look like this. I don't care how bad boys they are, just don't trust no dudes, bro. Get some pepper spray, carry a taser, carry a gun, all types of stuff. Cause we men are weird. We got some creeps out there. There's some women out there that are also creeps. We really have a bad reputation of being weirdos.
Just trying to show off his best side, you know?
But yeah, I'm just like...
Still, our chats had barely a dull moment, and as we continued to talk, I couldn't help but think that I had finally found someone who I could connect with.
No, you did not.
I liked funny cat videos, and he had an adorable one of his own. He liked hiking, and I love nature. It seemed like we were a match made in heaven. So, when he came to pick me up on Valentine's Day, I was beyond excited. I remember waiting in my room, staring at the clock as it ticked closer and closer to 7 p.m.
Nah, this is crazy.
I was so nervous, I could barely sit still. Finally, there was a knock at my door. I leaped up to answer it, and there he was. He was even more handsome in person. He had dark hair and...
We really trusting dudes that look like this? He looked like his name is Edward. Michael. Like this is actually crazy. Ladies, please don't ever trust dudes that look like this, bro. Bro, these motherfuckers just want your
Piercing gray
organs. That's it.
eyes. He was wearing a black leather jacket and jeans.
Nah, bro. Even this man
Looked like he belonged in a motorcycle
like
gang.
one of those.
But I didn't care. I still like bad boys.
Emily?
Yes, it's so nice to.
This dude look like one of those dudes, bro, from the dark web. Come get your organs and sell them. Michael Jackson.
Finally meet you, Nicholas.
You're finna
Come in,
away
please.
his jail, bro.
I stepped aside to let him in, my heart racing the entire time. I closed the door behind him, and then we just kind of stood there, staring at each other for a few awkward moments. As we stood there, I couldn't help but notice a strange tattoo on his neck. It looked like a prison number.
Whoa,
that's the amount of
that's a
people
cool
he killed.
tattoo. What does it mean?
Although I was too absorbed at the moment to notice his discomfort, I did hear the shift in his voice as he answered.
Nothing. Just thought it was cool back in the day.
No,
Let's get
you
out of
did
here.
not.
As we walked out of my dorm, he put his arm around me and I leaned into him. I felt so safe and comfortable with him.
Yeah, that's
We
how
walked
it
to his
is,
car,
bro.
a
And
black
then they're gonna leave you
SUV, and
somewhere
got in.
unknown.
So, where are we going?
I thought we could go for a walk in the park. It's such a beautiful night outside.
No, this man is literally Michael Jackson. It all lines up. It all lines up. It's dark. They finna go to the park. You know, you hear
I
werewolves
agreed,
and everything.
and we headed to the park. We walked and talked,
This is
and I
crazy.
told him all about myself. I told him about my family, my friends, and my hobbies. He listened intently, and I felt like he really cared about what I had to say.
No, he does
That's
not.
when I began to notice that the park was eerily empty. There wasn't a soul in sight.
Yeah,
Where
I don't
is
know about
everyone?
you, buddy.
It's so quiet and empty.
He looked at me with a strange expression on his face, but he didn't answer. He just kept walking, his arm around my waist. We came to a stop in front of a large tree. This was when I began to feel really uneasy.
Yeah, no. Police! 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 That man over there! Like, this is, bro, you don't trust dudes like this. This is why you don't trust dudes like this. Like, bro, they don't want you for you. They want
I
you
tried
for
to
your
take
organs.
a step back, but he held me close.
They want you
I
to
looked
be
up at
dead.
him, and he was staring at me with an
They like the
intensity
thrill
that
of
I can
this.
only describe as hunger.
Hunger? Oh yeah. He was definitely one of those. Hunger is actually crazy.
His
That
piercing
man
gray eyes had taken on an almost insane
SSG
quality as he stared at me with them widened, and the red veins at the very edges of his eyes became
go
more
from
pronounced.
What's
calm to
wrong?
angry so quick.
I tried to
What
pull
did
away,
she do to you?
wanting to get out of there as quickly as possible. He
Hit
didn't
that
answer
man.
me, but his grip tightened. He just stared at me, his eyes drilling into mine. And then, without warning, he attacked me. Grabbing my throat, he began to choke me. I struggled against him, but I couldn't break free. I could feel my vision start to fade as I gasped for air. Just when I thought I was going to pass out, he released me. I fell to the ground, coughing and
this man
gasping
loves
for
the
air.
chase.
He
loves
loomed
the
over
chase.
me, a sickening grin on his face.
Oh,
And
nah,
that's when I
bro.
saw it again.
He
He
really
grabbed
is
his
Michael
jacket
Jackson.
and tossed it to the side. His prison number flashed in my mind.
The jacket, the transforming. This man is literally Michael Jackson from Thriller. Like, it's crazy. Like, bro, why are we trusting dudes like this? Why? This dude do not deserve no trust at all. Which is actually kind of crazy. If you
As I
think about
saw
it. Look
what
at
he
his
had been
build.
wearing under his jacket, an orange jumpsuit.
You're an inmate!
He just laughed.
I literally called
a
it-
cold,
this man is a
maniac
felon.
laugh that sent
He is a
chills
thug.
down my spine.
Arrest that thug.
Grabbing his face with his nails, he dug them
Arrest that
into his
thugger.
skin and began to slowly scratch his face, starting from directly
Ugh.
below his eyes till he reached his lips. As blood began to run down his face, he just
this
kept
man is
laughing.
sick.
I was in pure terror at this point, and I scrambled to my feet and started to run, but he was too fast. He caught up to me and tackled me to the ground. I
Future
screamed
Twitch
as he
streamers
began to
in a
choke me
nutshell.
again. I thought for sure that this was it, that I was going to die. But then, just as suddenly as he had attacked
This is
me,
literally what
he
happens
stopped.
when you don't play Minecraft no more.
He got up and dusted himself off and looked down at me again. Finally, he spoke, and with each word, the blood from his face splattered down into my face.
Let's play a game, Emily. I escaped just so I could have some fun on Valentine's Day. Now, I'll give you 3 minutes. Try to make it out of the park
busted out
before
like
I
the
catch
Joker.
you. But if I do catch you,
Where's
you'll never
Batman?
be alone on Valentine's Day again.
Staring at me, he began to count down
it's
from
time to
3.
go.
I struggled to my feet and began to run. I could hear him counting behind me as he stood there in the park with blood streaming from his face. As I glanced back,
It's time to
I
run.
saw what looked like a trail of blood following him as he
Run.
slowly began to walk after me. I ran as fast as I could, but I knew he was going to catch me. There was no way I
That
could
man
outrun
is
him.
hauling.
3, 2, 1.
That man
His
is about
voice
to haul.
stopped, and suddenly, I heard crazed footsteps pounding behind me as he began to run.
Yeah, he's on the hunt.
I was about to give up. As I ran, my legs were seared with the cold pain of exercise such as this. Just as
This
he
is
was
actually
about to
crazy.
catch up to me, though, I saw a ranger's car drive into the park.
Yes,
I
sir.
think they were there to close up for the night, but to this day,
you say?
I still don't care.
Help me!
I ran toward them shouting as the man who had been chasing me darted into the bushes. I heard a scream of anger from his direction as he realized that he had lost me. The ranger got out of his car and ran toward me as I collapsed into his arms, sobbing and shaking
sir.
uncontrollably.
What happened, miss? You're
W
safe
man.
now.
W
Maybe I am, but they never found him.
They need
They
to
never
find
caught
that
the
thug
man
and lock
who had
him up.
tried to kill me. And ever since that day, I've been terrified of being alone on Valentine's Day, and just as equally terrified of trying to find a date for fear that he or someone like
Yeah,
him
get him gone.
shows up again.
That was the end of the video. I love y'all. I love y'all. I'm sorry this video took so long. Sorry it got delayed. You know what I'm saying? I love all y'all, bro. Have a good day, good night, and stay safe.
Tear me to pieces, skinny bone. Used to hit that bitch up off a mini phone. Ain't forget when you act like you wasn't home. Late night with the gang, right? We on FaceTime. She told me to pull up in a late pipe. I told shorty slow down, I'm in hang time. She told me, nigga, fuck that, make time. Skirt, do the dash to her crib. I'm really hoping that her dad let me.